This is kind of the madness I'm looking at now. As you can see, I mean, I know where things are, but if my husband tries to get in here, it's going to be a little difficult. So, and also this is not comfortable picking it up and dealing with all the papers and things like that. So I'm going to tackle this budget binder. I use the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. I will leave a link to her, either her Instagram or her website down below, or maybe both. I bought the digital version actually maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I'm not sure which. This is one of the first versions she has. And I'm glad that I bought the digital one. Oh, here it is, 2019. I bought the 2019 version, and we are still using it. So I did begin using this in 2019. We used it all the way through last year and are continuing on with this year. And I really like the digital format because I can pick and choose the things that I want to print out and the things that we don't need to print out. So she's got a really great layout here, and I won't show everything she has to give respect to her, but I will show you what I do print out and how we use those items to set up our binder. If you want, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at the binder or her budget workbook in full, because there may be other items in there that you want to use that I personally don't use. She also has expanded, so besides this printable one, she has a newer version of it with kind of different, I'm not sure if it's different colors and different layouts, but it's really neat, and it's you may like that one better, so take a look at that. And then she has the physical form as well that you can purchase, as well as some other smaller ones. But she's really great, and she has really helped. Between her and Dave Ramsey, we've kind of morphed how we do our finances and our budget, and it took us many, many years to figure it out, but I'm so glad that we did. Okay, so I thought of emptying the entire binder to show you, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start with what we have. It is just a regular 3-inch binder. In here I actually have 2 of these pouch holders, and in this first one, I just have the things that I need when I'm using this binder. So what's in here, I'm gonna take it all out and I'll show you what we have in here. I just have Post-it notes, some small ones, and actually I like to have larger ones in there too, so I'm gonna grab some and put those in too. If you can hear my kids in the background, it's just life here. It is rarely ever quiet in this home. I also have whiteout because, you know, mistakes. I have a black pen, a blue pen, and a red pen. I like to write just our regular budget items in the black pen, and then the blue pen if I ever want something that stands out to me a little bit more. And then of course the red pen is for overages and things like that if we're ever in negative, which does happen. So all 3 of those will go in there. I have a pencil and then a Sharpie pen. I also have these, and these are from Budget Mom's budget workbook. These are, if you use cash envelopes, what you do is take this into the teller, and then after you tally up how much cash you would need for each of your envelopes, you would write down the quantity of each bills you would need, and then the total amount and your total withdrawn. So it makes it easier for the cashier or the bank teller to give you back the correct amount. So, you know, when you're separating into your cash envelopes, if you need 3 5s and 2 10s versus just 1 or 2 20s, or however that math is, the cashier can go ahead and get that the right one out for you. And the Sharpie is for that, because what I did is go ahead and print just one set out, and then if you write on them with Sharpie, you can reuse them and then just wipe it off with like a little bit of rubbing alcohol. So I have these. We had stopped using cash envelopes, but I think I'm gonna go back to it, possibly with our grocery budget, and that's because we only have 2 variable spending amounts, and grocery and gas are the 2 variables we have. So I may go back to using it for that, but I keep that in here too because it just all goes together. And then I also have just 2 clips because sometimes I'm flipping back and forth, especially when I'm having budget meetings with my husband, and I'm showing him various things. Now you can see that I've used this binder quite a bit because some of these kind of stick, but I'm just gonna keep on trucking with it and use it. See, it sticks a little, and that's okay. This second one usually houses our like our checkbook or Maybe if I have some other important papers that I want to make sure I get back to, but I'm not going to show that on camera. So that's just know that that's what that's for. This first page is usually this. I just went ahead and printed out a new one because our other one was looking kind of ratty and had a lot of things X'd out. But here is where I put in, you know, if we have our vehicle registration, the due date, and what the annual cost is. You can divide it and put it down to a monthly cost if you want to do it that way. We usually just use the annual cost. And then things like Thrive membership, it's an online grocery type delivery place, and so that would be an annual cost. So I like to put those down on here with the due dates and the annual cost. And I like to have it right in front just as a reminder so that I don't forget that these things are coming up for us. I also have this worksheet printed out. I will try to remember, oh, this is from the Budget Mom also. So this is the house goal. We would like, one of our dreams is to purchase a home. And so as you put your total amount here, either for the entire house, if you would like to buy your house in cash, or in down payment, which we'll probably do. And so then you just color in, you divide by the coloring pages or the coloring blocks, and then you color it in as you go. And it's just a fun way to keep yourself motivated. As you can see, we don't have anything started just yet. So, but we're gonna get there. This is the year, I'm claiming that. So that's what that's for. Then I have 12 months worth of calendars printed out. And what I do here, I just skipped over to June because all of these have like scribble notes and stuff, and this is a little neater. But all I do is I mark the days that we get paid, and then I mark all of the bills that we have and which day they're due. And then I'll come back in, and I don't do this all the time, but I'll come back in and check it off as I've paid them, just to double check that I'm paying everything, because not everything is set up on automatic payments. And I actually prefer not to have it set on automatic payments, but that's a different story. So that's how we mark it down, and just make sure that's a good overview and a beginning way to budget if you don't want to get too involved with the whole binder. So we just have for the remainder of the year on here our paydays and then bills due. And then you can see down here, I have our rent split between two checks. So half of our rent will come from one check and the other half from the other check. And that just keeps us from being having one complete check like just gone completely, because that would be like the entire rent payment, and then having a surplus in the other check. This just kind of balances it out better. This is our sinking funds. I have to update this, but this is also a page from the Budget Mom, and you just, if you have sinking funds, basically what they are smaller savings buckets, if you will. And so you have different items, like we have kids, we have moving, because we are renting and we know we're gonna have to move again, and moving is expensive. So as you can see, there's not much left in that. We have $45.10 left in it. And it's probably even less because, like I said, I've not updated this. But auto maintenance, insurances, membership. So these are things like I was saying on the first page, like our Thrive membership, Costco membership, that kind of thing. Christmas, this is our Christmas fund, and then medical, and then, which has also changed because sometimes this is if we have a big surplus of vitamins or things like that we need to get out, we go ahead and take it from medical. And then a miscellaneous fund. And then we also have on the back a homeschool fund and a utilities fund. So that just, our utilities fluctuate where we are now. So we're not quite sure what summer is going to be with air conditioning, and then winter it was a lot more with the heater. So it's not as clear cut. So when it's over or under, we just go ahead and throw it in there. This is going to get a little bit revamped, but what it is just graph paper. It would be what our monthly bare bones amount needed would be. So at the time that I did this, the bare amount we needed just to survive for the month, and that would be just paying rent and utilities, and I think like grocery and gas, so nothing extra, would be $3,276. And then I divided each square and marked it off. So when we had 50, I would color up to here. When we had 100, I would color up to here, and so on and so forth, because I wanted to have that in our savings amount. I didn't fill any in because we wanted to come back and recheck this number, but I'm gonna go over that with my husband in one of our budget meetings before I go ahead and set it all up. But then you can see on the side here, I just have January through December tabs. Now, These I did not purchase for myself. In fact, this whole binder and the tabs and these little like pocket dividers was a gift from a very sweet friend of mine. My gosh, like over 5 years ago. She was trying to introduce me to her way of budgeting, and it took some way. It was a blend of her binder system, and then, like I said, we also did a little Dave Ramsey, and then the Budget Mom, and we kind of melded all 3 of those and made our own. And so these are from her, and then I will take you over to one that is blank because I don't want to share all of our business with you and show you what we put in here. So as you can see, I have little post-it notes on things because that is when, like this month, we have a payment that we don't normally have, and so I want to remember that we have that payment. So I just have it in here so I can add it to here. So here are some of the things, that pages that we're using from the Budget Mom's workbook. I don't use very many pages from her because thankfully we are debt free. We became debt free, I believe, a year and a half ago. And for us, it was a little bit different. For most people, when you become debt free, or from what I can see, there's this huge influx in your accounts. Like there's a big portion of their check is going to debt items. And so when you are debt free, then all that money is going to yourself. For us, if it was a little bit different because we still are working with a pretty small paycheck, just considering our paycheck to living ratio, the things that we have to pay. So, but I am still thankful that that is done and glad, and now we're just working hard to stay that way. So this pay here is the Paycheck bill tracker, and what you do is I'm gonna hole punch these so they fit in there. I print them out, and then we get paid twice in the month of July. So I've printed 2 out. And then the expense tracker. And then these are 2 of the ones that I print out from hers. Where did my money go? This is a monthly budget category breakdown. And so you write down your budget categories, what your budget was for that category. So if you had groceries, my monthly budget would be $600, and then how much we actually spent, what the difference, if any, and then what percentage of your income that is. And so I just kind of like to have an overview of that at the end of the month. And this is something I do when I close our month. And then on the back end of that is just your monthly net worth tracker. Honestly, I didn't want to do this at first because I was like, oh, this is for people that have lots of money, but it is actually very rewarding to do, and it's kind of it's very motivational to do because you want to see your total net worth go up, and how ways that just that average person like us can do that. So that's another thing that I do at the end of the month. So I've printed out my sheets for the remainder of the year, and I'm just going to go ahead and hole punch them and put them in. So for December, believe December is one of the 3 paycheck months for us. So this is another reason that the PDF version works really well for us, because I can print only what I need. So December has 3 paychecks, and I printed 3 paycheck bill trackers out for that month. The other months only had 2, so I only printed 1 page out, and then that way I'm not wasting as much paper. December, because it is going to tend to be a more spendier month for us, I printed out 2 pages of expense trackers. Hopefully we won't need that many, but if we do, I have a spare one thrown in here. And then the same with the other months. If we just are going, it's a spendier month, then I can just print 1 more out and put it in the binder. But if not, I can just keep it to that 1 page. And then we have another one of these file folders. And what I keep in here usually are things like upcoming bills that are not quite yet. So things like registrations, or if I have insurance that's coming up and we know that we're going to pay it quickly or in the next check or 2, I put that in here. Just some lined paper, because I'm always using notes and scratch things. And when we have our budget meetings, sometimes we look at different scenarios and we'll map it out. So it's always good to have some scratch paper. This is just some car maintenance stuff that I like to keep in here. But I've turned it over because it does have personal information on it. So that stays in one of these tabs. And then I just have some extra sheets here that got printed out that I didn't use. And now these are some of the sheets that my friend gave me, and how she was budgeting. So she had this from stacyssavings.com, and she her expense detail was slightly different. So she has the subcategory, the budget, what you actually spent, the difference, and any notes. This wasn't working out in my brain for me, but it works out really well for her. So I mean, you can shape this back binder to however you want. This is just, I keep these back here because she went through all the work and printed them for me, and we have used these a couple of times. What I've used them for is setting up like our Christmas budget. I would write out what we wanted to get a budget and spent like for each person, so listing things like that, or just other expense details that came up and that I didn't necessarily have already spent, but more like different scenarios we were working through. I just didn't want to waste all of this that she has put out for us. This is her monthly budget. So you put your paycheck 1, paycheck 2, total, if you have any extra income, your total income, and then here's where all your expenses would go. Like I said, this is just I don't know, my brain just wasn't working on this wavelength. I prefer seeing it per paycheck this way, and doing a budget by paycheck this way, and this worked out a lot better for me. So I just have these extra sheets back here, and then this is just for a local delivery. This is a local furniture store, and we have a rewards card with them, so I just keep that tucked in here. And then this is the card that actually came with my binder, and I just keep it there as a gentle reminder of how lovingly my friend made this and prayed over it for me, and how grateful I am for that. So I hope that this was helpful. If you would like to see how we close our monthly budget, or how we budget our paycheck, let me know and leave a comment down below, and I will put together a video for that. So I hope you have a great day. Happy budgeting if you're doing that, and God bless.